Hi, everyone. Hello, good evening. If I speak at this kind of volume, can you hear me at the back? Is that all right? This room has seen so many launches, but none as exciting, I think, as this, the launch of Labour Home. First of all, for the MPs that are here, thank you very much for coming. I know you were competing with darts this evening, I believe. So there's the Lukes are in another part of the building, and I'm sure most of you will be rushing off. But it is fantastic to see so many MPs. I learned a long time in politics ago not to list all the MPs in the room for fear of leaving one out and making an enemy for life. And after 40 years in the Labour Party, I've got enough enemies for life. Thank you very much. But for those MPs and peers and councillors, thank you very much. But for the people who have come in as visitors, I want to extend a particular welcome. I mean, I first walked through these doors, I don't know, in the 80s, I guess. I mean, Stephen, you probably came in nappies, I imagine. But we never lose our sense of awe, do we? I think this building has the incredible power to generate awe and wonder, and a sense that it is a very special place. And if I ever lose that sense of awe, I would be really quite disappointed. It does make the hair on the back of your neck stand up, and it was designed to do so, of course, but it is a very special place. So welcome if you are a visitor. We used to call you strangers. What a terrible thing to say, but visitors, citizens, you're very welcome indeed. Now, I don't want to repeat all the points that have just been made about Labour Home. I referred to the sort of my earlier days in the party just now in the 80s and 90s. The media ecology in those days was pretty straightforward. If you wanted to get a message out, you would put an article in Tribune, perhaps, or you put something in New Statesman. If you were very lucky, you might get a piece in The Guardian or the Independent. If you wanted to reach the people that really mattered, you'd get on the Today programme or get interviewed by Michael Crick on Newsnight, and that was pretty much it. That was the media as it was then. And if you wanted to reach the people involved in politics, there's one or two outlets you could hit. Now, 40 years on, that topography, that ecology of media has transformed beyond all recognition. Ministers still seem to be wheeled out onto the Today programme, but I wonder who's listening. You know, we still get articles into The Guardian, but who's reading? And you'll know from those of you that are out campaigning on doorsteps, you hear stuff back on doorsteps of seemingly reasonable people, perhaps who are in the column as a former Labour voter, and they say things that are so appalling and you're sort of surprising and, you know, conspiratorial sometimes, and you just wonder, where on earth is this coming from? Where is this stuff coming out of the conversations we have on those doorsteps? And of course the answer is it's coming from a new ecology of right-wing media, funded by billionaires in their own interest, pumped out through Talk and through GB News and through the online mail, amplified through TikTok and other social media, and finding its way into the popular conversation and discourse and shifting the debate. It is, of course, correct that we should be concerned about the security of our borders and of the state of the nation on the south coast. But the fact that people are now talking about that across the whole country, people unaffected, in effect, by this, where does that come from? Where does the conversation about small boats come from? When we think about the conversations around trans rights, or what's woke and what isn't, or, you know, what MPs do, what councils are for, all of this conversation, this constant sort of drumbeat of right-wingery, it's far bigger and louder and more insidious than anything I've ever seen before. So there is a genuine attempt, I think, out there to take down our politics. And I said to a senior politician earlier today that I felt that perhaps even social democracy itself is in some peril internationally and certainly here. And she didn't disagree with that prospectus, terrifying though it may be, because I think there is this concerted attempt to take down our politics, and they have created a media whereby that can actually take place. And the example I'll give you, I don't know if Howard Dorber, our deputy mayor, was here earlier, and we were talking about this. The attempt to talk down London and to create the idea internationally as well as in the UK that London is somehow a dangerous place, a place where citizens can't go about their business, that, you know, visitors are bound to encounter crime and disorder, that somehow this is a failing city. You know, that idea that is being pumped out across media, it's not accidental. And you have to ask your question, in whose interest is that? Well, it's not Friends of the UK's interest for that to be case. It's not people who want to see the success of a diverse, pluralistic, modern, exciting, vibrant place like London. It's in the interests of people who want other cities to survive and prosper, of people who want to take down our politics, defeat our mayor elections, and to see people elected to councils who do not share that view. So it's out there as an entity that we're grappling with. Now, having said all of that, is Labour Home the answer to Elon Musk? No, of course not. It's not. It's a pebble lobbed into a bigger pond, isn't it? But it is a really valuable contribution towards a new left of centre, progressive, more liberal media that we have to create now ourselves. And we have to use our own social media, our own creativity, our own voices, our stories, our narratives, our experiences, all of the things that make us Labour, and to just start that conversation going off, not just with amongst ourselves, but beyond into the electorate as well. I bumped into Emma Bennell just now, who's the editor of Labour List. And I said, how do you feel about this new thing, Labour Home? And she said, quite rightly, let 1,000 flowers bloom. She said it's great that there's going to be more voices, different platforms. Of course, Labour Home offers a slightly different take to Labour List, and it's certainly something that adds a new technological dimension with the podcasts and the video and all of the technological stuff that's going to be going on. So there's no sense that this is in competition with or trying to sort of blunt some of the outlets that are already out there. I just really genuinely believe we need as many different ways to communicate and to advocate and to debate and to talk to people as we possibly can, so that when we are on those doorsteps, what we hear back isn't the hate and the division, but it is that, Labour, yeah, they seem to be doing a good job around here. I quite like that new playground that you've opened up there. Oh yeah, tickets outing. Yeah, that was disgraceful when I had to spend so much money on tickets the other day. I'm glad you're sorting that out. I am worried about defence. I'm glad that you're putting money into defending our nation. And we just hear that coming back at us instead of this sort of drumbeat I described. So that's what Labour Home is all about. It's really there for you. It's going to be democratic and citizen-led. If everybody in this room contributes something, please do on behalf of a cause or a campaign. If you're a campaigner, then tell us about your campaigns. If you're here on behalf of a cause, then write up that and give some advocacy. Do the videos, do tonight, do some clips for us, get them stuff up there, because it belongs to us all of us. And I think that's the real beauty of it. So there we are, let 1,000 flowers bloom. Thank you very much.